Let me ask you something. Have you ever found yourself standing at a crossroads in life, unsure of which way to turn? That feeling of being lost, uncertain, or even afraid of making the wrong choice. It's a feeling that nearly everyone experiences, but most never learn to embrace the power that lies in making decisions guided by divine wisdom. You see, my beloved, the toughest decisions, the ones that shape your destiny, should not be made from your own understanding alone. No. You must seek wisdom beyond your own limited perspective, the wisdom of God. Now, take a moment and reflect. When was the last time you felt truly at peace with a decision you made? A decision where everything aligned, where it felt as if the very universe was in harmony with your choice. That sense of peace, that confidence that you are walking the right path, this is what God's wisdom brings. Just as the Israelites were led through the wilderness by the cloud during the day and the fire by night, God's wisdom serves as your compass. But first, you must trust it and you must seek it. You might be thinking, but Jesus, how can I possibly know what God's wisdom is in the midst of my struggles? How do I hear His voice over the noise of the world? Remember what I said in the gospel, ask and it will be given to you, seek and you will find, knock and the door will be opened to you. It's that simple. When you seek God's wisdom, you're opening the door to a new way of seeing and understanding the world around you. The more you ask, the more you seek, the more the wisdom of God will flood your life. Imagine a blind man walking through a darkened forest. He stumbles, unsure of where to go, and yet, with the light of a lantern in his hand, everything becomes clear. The wisdom of God is like that light. In the darkest of times, it illuminates your path. But you must first open your heart to it, surrender your own will, and allow God to take control. This divine wisdom is not like the wisdom of man. Man's wisdom can only take you so far. It is limited, flawed by sin, and often based on self-interest. But God's wisdom? It's unshakable, eternal, and perfect. Remember when Solomon asked God for wisdom rather than wealth or power? God, in His generosity, not only gave Solomon wisdom but also wealth and power. But what was the true blessing? It was the wisdom that guided Solomon to make decisions that shaped the nation of Israel, decisions that brought peace and prosperity. If Solomon, the wisest of all men, sought God's wisdom, how much more do you, with your own struggles and choices, need it? Look at the parable of the man who built his house upon the rock. When the storms came, the house stood firm, but the man who built his house on sand found his house washed away. This is a metaphor for the choices you make in life. When you make decisions based on your own understanding, you are building your house on sand. But when you seek and apply God's wisdom, your house stands firm through any storm. You see, wisdom doesn't just give you answers. It helps you make decisions that will stand the test of time. And here's the thing. The power of God's wisdom isn't just for monumental decisions. It's for the everyday choices. Should you choose to forgive? Ask for wisdom. Should you invest in your future or help those in need today? Ask for wisdom. Should you say yes or no when faced with an opportunity? Ask for wisdom. This is how you navigate life, step by seeking the wisdom that only God can provide. God's wisdom comes not from your intellect but from His Spirit, who dwells within you. But just like you wouldn't expect a tree to bear fruit without watering it, you must cultivate your relationship with God through prayer, reading His Word, and listening to His Spirit. As you grow in your relationship with Him, His wisdom becomes more and more evident in your life. Imagine this, you're at a crossroads. One path is easy, everyone is taking it. But deep down, you know it doesn't feel right. Then there's another path. It's more difficult, less traveled, but it resonates with something deep inside you. That, my friend, is the wisdom of God. It doesn't always make sense to the world, but it brings peace, fulfillment, and purpose. Remember, as it is written, for the Lord gives wisdom. From His mouth come knowledge and understanding. Just like a father lovingly guiding his child, God speaks to you. But you must open your heart to listen. It's in the quiet moments of reflection, in the stillness, that God's voice becomes clear. In the chaos of life, you must make room for His wisdom to enter. This isn't just about making the right choices for yourself. It's about being a light to others. Think of Joseph in Egypt. Betrayed by his brothers, sold into slavery, yet he never turned away from God's wisdom. In the end, he rose to power and was able to save not just his family but an entire nation. His wisdom, grounded in trust and faith, impacted generations. You see, when you allow God's wisdom to guide you, you are not just building your own life. You are laying the foundation for those who will come after you. Now, I want you to close your eyes for a moment and picture your life. What decisions are you facing? What choices have you been struggling with? Now, imagine asking God for wisdom. Picture Him gently guiding your hand, leading you down a path of clarity and purpose. That is the power of divine wisdom at work in your life. It is always available and it will never fail you. My beloved, the road ahead will be full of challenges. There will be moments when the world pulls you in one direction and your heart tells you to go in another. But if you trust in God's wisdom, if you seek it above all else, He will guide you. He will be your compass, your light, your strength. As I said, I am the way, the truth, and the life. That is not just a declaration but a promise. When you walk in God's wisdom, you walk in the way of life. Every decision, no matter how big or small, becomes an opportunity to reflect His glory. And that, my friend, is the true purpose of life, to glorify God in every choice, in every step. But let me tell you something, God's wisdom will often take you places you never expected. It might require you to take risks, to trust when everything in your flesh tells you to be afraid. It might ask you to love when it's difficult, to forgive when it seems impossible. But do you know what I say? Blessed are the pure in heart, for they will see God. You will not only walk in peace, but you will see God's hand at work in your life in ways you never imagined. Think about Esther, a young woman placed in a position of power for such a time as this. She risked everything to speak the truth, knowing that God had placed her there for a reason. And God's wisdom, through her courage, saved an entire people. What might God be calling you to do? What wisdom is He placing in your heart right now? I want you to recognize this truth. God's wisdom doesn't just lead you to make decisions. It transforms your life. It leads you to become someone who doesn't just survive the storms of life, but thrives in them. It teaches you that your value is not determined by your circumstances, but by the wisdom you carry. It's not just about what you do, but who you become in the process. God's wisdom is the key that unlocks your true potential. You were made for greatness, for influence, for purpose. But you can only walk into that destiny by seeking God's wisdom above all else. And remember, I am with you always, guiding you, helping you discern, giving you the strength to step out in faith. So now, I ask you again, are you ready to embrace God's wisdom? Because when you do, nothing will be the same. The choices you make, the direction you take, will all align with the divine purpose that God has set before you. And through it all, you will find peace, fulfillment, and a life beyond your dreams. Trust in Him, lean on His wisdom, and walk boldly forward, knowing He will never fail you.